Alright everyone, welcome along. Tuppence Tuesday. So, what does it mean when we start talking about toxicity? What it's about, and really where it gets into, is understanding that KPIs break businesses. That is a core fact that you need to understand as you're progressing down your business intelligence and data analytics journey. And it's all because what we want is we want measurement to show the benefit that we deliver. That's the point, okay? There is a reason why we measure something, and it's to drive an improvement in a particular area within our business, or to gauge and see our success. So making the measurement, making whatever the target is good, isn't it? That's kind of good. The problem is, make the target is good. And human nature is to make the target. So the benefit stops being considered by people chasing the target. And that can lead to some quite considerable negative effects on your business. Okay? So KPIs is something that you're going to have. Key performance indicators, yeah? So what's an indication of a key performance indicator? Where do you put them? What's going on with it? Right? We've kind of got really three areas that we need to look at, right? And the three areas, I think you and we all need to be comfortable with what those are, right? So we've got the dashboard concept, right, which is it's an at a glance view. I need to be able to see, right, at a glance, what's happening. There. If you go to a call center, they'll have like key call metrics, how many calls are in the queue, what's the abandon rate, what's those, right? They'll have that as a dashboard. Now, again, the value of a dashboard is limited because it's designed to be at a glance. At a glance, where are we now? At a glance, right? It's not detail oriented. It's around the KPI itself. It's going to show a number or that top level value. The detail comes to the next level down, which is reports. Now, reports should be focused on specific areas. Now, you might have a KPI report that looks at one KPI. And typically what we say a report should do is it should look at your key result areas. So what goes into making that KPI? And that's often the bit that's missed. People don't understand that the KPI in itself needs to be supported by other areas. And if those other areas aren't supporting it, the KPI is likely to be going wrong. So just a KPI on its own isn't going to deliver for your business. And that's a difficult one for people to understand. Key other piece is around this results and influences, right, that you'll get in a report. Now, they will only show you information about what you know. So by definition, a report can only report on what's known. It's a known value kind of thing. You're not going to do that exploratory or see that exploratory piece in a standard report. Okay, so it's known influences. Where can we look at known influences? So we've got, we know that the weather might affect our sales of snowplows. We know if it's bright sunshine, we ain't selling many snowplows. If it's above freezing, we're probably not going to be selling many snowplows as well. So we'd be able to say, right, the key results of snowplow sales is also going to be dependent on weather forecast and actuals versus target as well, because the actuals versus forecast, because the forecast might be for, it's going to be fine, 20 degrees, or whatever, it's going to be like really hot, and then out the blue you get like 2 foot of snow. Almost guarantee you're going to sell a ton more snowplows than you would do if it said, it's going to gradually get colder over the next couple of weeks. And it's like, people are probably getting what they needed. And, but you can kind of understand. And there's influences that you'd be able to look at and see. And then lastly, we get to that like table. And that's like the Excel spreadsheet, CSV file version of the data. So there's no KPIs really there inherently in it. Because it's a table, that entity level data set. right? We might have success or fail of KPI at that row level and say, well, this was on target, this wasn't, or this was right, this was wrong, this was, yeah, whatever we're going to say. But there's no inherent KPI there. We could total them up, we could do something, but that in itself, it's not going to show us that KPI. It's a very unfriendly view. But it does allow that identification of correlation. So correlation and causation are two very different things, or, well, yeah, they are two different things, because identifying a correlation does not necessarily mean that we've identified a cause. And that cause is kind of more important for us to understand. And there's a whole piece we're getting into, because this is now stretching on towards machine learning algorithms and further on. But your core three areas to think through are your dashboards, your reports, and your tables. So what dashboards are you going to build? Who's going to see those dashboards? And what measures are you going to put on them? Okay. Then you've got your reports. What reports do we need to actually validate that this KPI is good? So we're saying it's great, we're hitting 99% of something, but are we doing it in a way that's driving the positive outcomes that we wanted from that metric? Alright, so here we are, yeah. JFK airport taxi usage. Right, what we've got here is really, I mean, this is sort of bang on what I've just been talking about, the sort of thing to maybe put on as your top level. Right? And I think these four together are really useful from this taxi data set. So journey count, passenger count, total fare, total revenue, which is basically what that is, and the tip percentage. So that's kind of key, isn't it? Because what you've got is the number of journeys that have gone on. So how many taxi rides have we had? How many passengers? So what's our ridership looking like, right? But we've then got like the total fares, so we can see then from our million we're making 57 million, so you know it's like quite a lot. You know, it's like $50 odd average taxi fare, and the tip percentage is coming in at 12.2%. Now the reason why I went back here and extended this data set that was originally this 2019 one, and there's a version that's online, and the link will be down below, that allows you to go back to 2017, was precisely because of what we found here. So what I found was if we highlight April 2020, so when COVID first struck the US, drops down to 9.3%. I was thinking, well, yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, and we're like, huh. Okay, now we can all agree something has changed. There's been a change. There is a change definitely in it. We can see from the journey counts per day that there's been a change in just volume. It's like completely outside the norms of our normal banding. So we can definitely, you know, I don't need to be no data scientist to say something's changed there, matey. What I didn't expect to change was that significant a change in tip percentage. That's a 25% drop. And I mean, initially I would have, my mindset was, well, if people know taxi drivers are struggling, maybe they're going to tip more, and that was kind of why I put tips in. I was like, you know, I just wanted to show, oh, look, people are supporting, and then, they're not. And that was a really difficult one. I was trying to work out why and what that could be. And this is now heading into one of the areas that I really want you to understand, which is the numbers will show you so much. At some point, though, you're going to need to go and explore beyond the numbers. And that's where we're going to look at the table of data, we're going to look at this, we're going to look at that. I'm never going to get to the bottom of that without understanding more information. So what do you reckon then? It's easy to start the journey of KPIs, right? See, I've gone out, look for a KPI. It says this, regional sales. We expect our regional sales to grow year on year, week on week, month on month, 10%, 15%, whatever it is, okay? That's what I expect. But at what cost is kind of the key question. That's what's never really followed up with that metric. IT service desks, it might be around, we expect you to resolve tickets on time 99% of the time. Well, that's fine and that's brilliant, but what happens if tickets are missed? Sure, is it how do you calculate it? You calculate it at the point of closure, which is generally where you do it. It's the industry standard. So it then becomes a case of saying, well, that one's missed. That one's missed target, sorry. This one's missed target. This one's missed target. These three haven't. Which one am I going to work on today? I'm going to work on these three because I've got a chance to make my target there. The other ones don't care about because I've missed my target. No one's going to, unless, why would I be stupid enough to pick it up and go, oh, I'm going to look at this and try and solve it? Hey, there's no benefit to me in doing that. And that's a piece of that's the unfortunate truth, really, of human nature, is fundamentally humans are designed to do what benefits them. Okay, and we talk a lot about the anthropology of it and what goes on in businesses, and it is important from a data intelligence perspective, business BI, management information, whatever you're going to call it, data analytics, to be aware of the human drivers that are going to be enabled or pushed by what you're doing. And it's not a case that, well, people are fundamentally evil. People aren't. People are fundamentally good, and people want to be honest and do the right thing. We know at a very deep level in our hearts that when things go well and when things aren't going well, and we feel it very clearly, and we know that's not right, that is right. But if the pressure, and if we go back and think through about that statement that we had, was around what is recognised and rewarded is what gets done. Because our KPI is driving that negative behaviour of ignoring those 3 tickets that have already breached in favour of the 2 or 1 or 3 that have yet to breach, we aren't encouraging a better customer outcome. And that better customer outcome is what we need to be a successful business. Because ultimately, if our customers are going to, no one cares about what I log or what's happening, right, chances are they'll go elsewhere. There's other companies doing stuff. And that's true across the board. If you're driving a sales team based on you have to meet your arbitrary sales target, not are you driving your customers on what, not driving your customers, are you driving your sales team on how much benefit have you given your customers, which is a much more difficult thing to measure. It's much less tangible. Sales orders, you can, right? But value is difficult. So have a think about it, really, because that's the key. You need to think through. When you're building your KPIs, make sure they are focused and that they have some key result areas that you can measure effectively to support that KPI. And they need to be driven towards your core business outcome that you as a company want to achieve. So don't forget, like and subscribe down below, leave your comments. I'd love to hear what you think about this. Okay? And of course, come back on Friday and we'll keep pushing forward with our something for the weekend. Take care of yourselves. Ta-da.